today I wanted to have you on and just talk a little bit about kind of like their incredible 2022 season. It's one of the best stories in baseball from the last year. A 31 game increase from 2021 to 2022. From your perspective, like how surprised were you that it came together as quickly as it did?
I mean, I was very surprised. I'm one of the more, I think, positive fans on Twitter. It's a very negative place, but I think I went into the season, I think I said 73 wins. I think something around those lines, 73, 74. And it was kind of like, listen, like just like last year and the years in the past, which is like, hey, this is I think I've said it on the show a bunch of times, like this year isn't about wins and losses. It doesn't matter. They're not going to compete. It's about, the guys staying healthy, and it's about the young guys coming up and us seeing the development, and like, oh, these guys are something, here's why they were drafted that high, or here's why, they were a waiver claim, something like that. And early on in the season, it turned into that, where like, we were sorry, we were seeing the young guys come up, have success. Again, we saw it last year and in the years past. And then, I mean, that Preakness Saturday at 8 a.m., it all changed when I was already up because I have a 3.5-year-old. So you're just up at that hour. You don't sleep in. Yeah, I got the notification from Rock, the Orioles are recalling Adley Rutschman, or purchasing his contract, whatever it was. And from there on, it was just like Elias said, it was liftoff. Like, it's just everything changed. And it's funny because, like, I tweeted out that clip of him doing the whole spin around looking at the stadium. And I said, you can literally pinpoint the exact moment where the Orioles season took a turn for the better. And I don't think you can even like debate that. Like, everything got better with Adley. The defense got better. The pitching got better. Like, the hitting improved, especially when they moved him up to the 2-hole. I mean, he was just great. So again, then everyone else started playing better. And again, I mean, for me, I remember the 96 season. I remember, some of those playoff teams. This was the most fun baseball team that I've watched since the 2014 team that won 96 games. Just the way they were winning games. I mean, the 10-game win streak, the was it like four walk-offs in 6 or 7 games or whatever during that stretch in July. Like, it was awesome. And my favorite part was you had people who, I have friends who are casual fans. Not everyone is like us and can watch 140, 150 games a year. It's just not for everyone. So like, I had friends or people that I know who were like, dude, I love this team. I get home from work and I'm like, I'm eating dinner in front of the TV, like, cheer, I got to be there for first pitch. Or like guys I know who live in the city who were never like, oh, I'm going to go to the game tonight, who are like 6:30, like, let's get up and walk to the game. So it's like that, seeing the team bring people like that back. And again, winning cures all. And I think we see it with that. I was super surprised. Again, I don't think anyone thought they were going to be. They were eliminated in the early hours of October 1st from the playoff race. If anyone would have said on this show, like, hey, the Orioles are, they'll go into October in the playoff race, he would have been like, we have to scrap this interview. This kid's a nut. Like, this is not going to happen. So like, just the fact that they were able to again be competitive up until October. I mean, it shocked, I think, everyone. And I know the players will say like, yeah, we always thought we could do this, but like, I don't think they thought that they were going to be this good coming into the season, especially in the division with Judge hitting 85 billion home runs, and the Jays being World Series, preseason World Series favorites, the Rays always doing what the Rays do. So yeah, I was very surprised, and it was awesome to see. And now comes the tough part with expectations. I mean, we saw this last year with the Tigers. Kind of, the Tigers' record last year wasn't as good as the Orioles was this year, but they had those expectations where they spent money. It's like, all right, they have a farm system, they have Torkelson, they have Riley Green, they have all these guys, and then they just fell flat on their faces here. Yeah. So next year is the year where it's like, all right, people are going to expect probably a playoff appearance. If they win 80 games, it's going to be like, man, this year sucks. And again, going into the season, I mean, that's people, you would have been crazy for thinking of that, but expectations change it all. So
I would have given my left arm for 80 wins at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, you would have been like, absolutely. Like,
sign me up.
Yeah, I'll sell the house. Like, whatever. I don't matter.
Been trying to get, I mean, we've talked about the Orioles a lot this season, which is something that obviously we haven't done for a very long time with them being as bad as they were. I've been trying to get Brian to convert to just like an Orioles believer with me. I don't know. I think I'm trying to get him on the Orioles magic bandwagon. I don't know how well of a job I did it this year selling that, but Brian has no connection. He's a Philly guy. I don't know. There's not really a rivalry there, but That's, I mean, Brian, from your perspective, how much fun was that paying attention to them and seeing the Adley Rutschmans and all these guys?
Well, I said it to you before because Jorge Mateo was with me in San Diego last year, sitting next to me on the bench. So I was happy for him when, he got to play and was playing pretty well because I played against him in the minors too. So I thought he was pretty talented and whatever. He just never really got a shot. But it was nice to see that. A couple of things for me was like, it was such a cool story, right? The whole time was amazing. And like Eric said, when he was talking about it, kind of popped in my head. It's like, when Adley came up, it's like they were playing pretty well, whatever. But it's like he took all the expectations and was unbelievable, right? Like himself, played awesome. And the rest of the team could just kind of like fly under the radar and just play because like all the focus was on Adley and he handled it so perfectly and played so well. So like that's one thing I never really thought of, which is amazing. It just tells you what kind of player he is and what kind of player he's going to be. But then the other thing that I think is so cool that you said was talking about your friends who were like, man, I got to watch the game now, or I want to go to the game. Like, it goes to show you, people are going to watch or they're going to show up if you have a fun team, if you have a good team. Like San Diego is another example of more recently. They got some players and San Diego's packed constantly, all the time. Baltimore, you got more people that are watching and more people that are going to go to the game now just because the team's good. So it's like just showing these owners and stuff like, hey, put a good product on the field and people are still going to go. Like people want to go. So you put something out there that's fun, they'll show up for it. So I just think that's awesome too. I'm happy to see that because, as you know, Jay, I'm a big advocate for the game of baseball in general, and I hate when people kind of trash it and say all these things are wrong with it and stuff instead of appreciating how good players are and some of the other things that go along with it.